Hey, Chris Freeman doing a little Q&A here. From time to time, I do get some letters from people that follow my blog, some of the videos that I post on Facebook, and I had a particularly good question come at me yesterday from a friend of mine who's been in a CrossFit gym for a couple of years now, and hasn't had what I would call very much success in his training process. A couple things have happened to this individual. First thing is 2 injuries, okay, which are, if you're a trainer or a coach, your first job should be to do no harm, and sometimes you got to save people from themselves as far as how hard they want to push themselves every day. So injuries would be the first one, would be unacceptable. And 2, this individual also hasn't met his goal set, which was to build more muscle. Like, yeah, he wanted to get in shape, but he wanted to be bigger and stronger. And this individual is probably around 150, 140, 150. About 5'9", 5'10". So he's a thinner guy. So for the first thing, it's a CrossFit gym, and there's nothing inherently wrong with CrossFit or a lot of the movements that they do in CrossFit. However, it's the way that people pair things together. It's the reps. It's the intensity. It's the compression of time, and the neglect of or the use of subpar form. Let's put it that way. So, like, I'm not, bashing CrossFit necessarily, but the way that it's executed or handled, like any other coach or trainer that does a shitty job, should be called out on it. It's not a big deal. We all know that there's better doctors, there's better lawyers, there's better trainers, there's better massage therapists. So if you're doing a good job, you don't have anything to worry about. And there's a couple CrossFits that I really, highly regard, and I know they're doing a good job, and their gym population is doing well, but there's a lot of crappy ones because of how fast this CrossFit thing's growing. So back to my friend. His question was, should I continue doing what I'm doing, and or should I move on and maybe just pursue more of a bodybuilding strength training program at a big box gym or a Globo gym? And when people come to me for advice, most people already know the answer. They just want to hear what you have to say. So they can make a better decision. But I figured that he already knew what the answer was. And the direction that I pointed him was, hey, you have to do what's right for you. And this guy injured his wrist doing front squats, and he injured his back doing overhead squats. So obviously that's not working out for you too well. So here he is. He spent an injury. I think he was actually out 2 months for his back, and he was out a month and a half for his wrist. So here's a guy trying to get in shape, trying to build some muscle, and here he is sitting on the sidelines for 3.5 months. That's quite a long time to sit out, and he's still persistent enough that he wants to train. So first of all, buddy, good for you for being that persistent and stubborn. But on the other hand, let's be smart about your exercise selection, because although CrossFit, they have a lot of good compound exercises, and weightlifting is definitely involved, and I like the gymnastics element in there. For a lot of people, depending on how you're built and how you're put together, a lot of those exercises are not going to be a good fit for you. And that's one thing you should be picky about the exercises that you choose to do for yourself, or the people that you coach. Okay, you got to have the right tool for the right job. And another thing, when your programming is so random, you're going to end up missing a lot of what people need and giving them too much of what they don't need. For an example would be those front-loaded postures like front squat, push press, all in the front, push-ups. So most people don't need as much of that as they need, stuff to get them into extension and to strengthen, the backside, the side that you can't see in the mirror, butt, hamstrings, low back, lats. So anyways, kind of a rambling tangent, but for you, buddy, I would recommend, get into a sensible program, something with some structure, lift some weights, do some bodybuilding work, focus on your nutrition, rest and recovery, and if you do, seek out some sensible coaching, some sensible training. If nothing else, get a training partner who is honest and will make you accountable and tell you if your squat looks like shit, or if you're moving goofy. Don't get a cheerleader, get somebody who's actually going to give you feedback. So either a training partner, get some coaching. There's a lot of good coaches in town. I'm living in Lexington here, and I can think of a couple that I would highly recommend. or come train with me. But in any case, thanks for your question. If you guys have more questions, I love to answer questions, and I've only gotten a few so far, so I'm just throwing it out there. If you have questions about your training or what direction you should go in, hit me up, chrisfreeman5@gmail.com. You could leave a comment on the website, chrisfreemanpt.com, or you could go to my Facebook page and leave a message, which is what most people have been doing, Chris Freeman Personal Trainer page. So thanks, and there'll be more Q&As to come. Take it easy. You can find more information at chrisfreemanpt.com.